Good to see everybody. Just to open things up, injury-wise, Colby Arenzi had his surgery this morning on his foot. I'm still waiting to hear back from the medical personnel. No reason to believe that it wasn't routine and successful, but still waiting to hear back as to the results of it. Obviously, we talked about this last week, but losing him for the year is a big blow for us, and other guys have got to pick it up in his stead. But obviously, thinking about him today as he goes through the surgery, and anxious to get word that everything went well, and anxious to talk to him. Spent a little time with he and his dad yesterday afternoon, and then he went in this morning. Jeffers is available for the game. He's not going to be able to play 80 plays, but we think we're going to be able to get maybe 25, 35 plays out of him in the game, which is good, especially considering the loss of Arenzi. In terms of any other major issues, we're actually relatively healthy right now, which is good news. We have a couple of bumps and bruises that people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, but nothing earth-shattering from this point. Obviously, we started our Boise prep last week. We spent some time in our two practices with our veterans last week, introducing the base Boise concepts, but we gave everybody Saturday and Sunday off. Sunday's normally a work day for us, but given the fact that it was a bye week, we gave everybody Saturday and Sunday off player-wise, and had a brief team meeting Sunday night just to make sure everybody was back in town and safe. And then we practiced briefly yesterday, not too long. We were out there about an hour and 20, and it really just took the place of the normal Sunday afternoon practice. We'll go out there today in full pads and go get to work. In terms of Boise State, obviously, in my opinion, they have been, they've been the standard for WAC, Mountain West, schools like ours. I mean, they've been the standard now for the better part of a decade. I know that this game is important to our fan base. The two things that I heard about when I got here were UNLV first and Boise second. And those are the two games that I was constantly told about. Since 2001, we've beaten them one time, and that's not lost on us either. Coach Peterson is 88-10 in his time there, winning at nearly a 90% clip, which is very, very impressive. And like I said, they've been the standard, and we're chasing them down. We're excited to play in the atmosphere. I'm excited personally. I've never been to Bronco Stadium. I've heard about what a great game day atmosphere it is, and obviously I know some of our players have been there, but I've never experienced it, and I'm excited to do so. And I know our team's excited to play in front of what should be a sellout crowd, if not pretty darn close. And I know it's one of the unique experiences in college football, and we're looking forward to that. Boise, when you look at them, they have a combination of really good personnel, and they play really hard. They play fast. They're aggressive. They've had a system in place now for a long time, and there's no secret recipe for their success. I mean, you just watch the way they play, and you can understand why they've been as good as they have been. On offense, I think they do the one thing that stuck out to me, having watched them as a fan for a bunch of years now, and then watching them this year, the offense is constantly evolving. Years past, it would be a ton of shifting and motions and try and formation. The offense has evolved. To be honest with you, there are a lot of pistol concepts in there when you watch it. There are some, so that's good for us in terms of our defense is going to see some things that they've seen, throughout spring football and training camp. They're going to see some things that look pretty familiar. But kudos to the Boise State staff. They are constantly evolving. They are very creative in what they do. There's going to be a trick play or two per game, and normally they've been successful. So that's something that we have to be on alert for. I think they do a really nice job of tailoring what they do on offense to accentuate the strengths of their personnel. If I had a back that was 6 foot 220 and could run like that guy runs, I'd be running a ton too. And he's going to be hard to handle for us. I think one of the things that sticks out when you look at them on film, their skill positions, specifically on offense, they're very big at the skill positions. You're talking about a 6'3", 222-pound receiver, 6'3", 208, 6'4", 220. Those are all wide receiver bodies. And then your starting tailback, 6 foot 220. So, they have size at the offensive skill positions. Personnel-wise on offense, the first guy that you look at is Southwick. He's a veteran. He's played a lot of games. I think he manages the game very well. He's become a far more dangerous passer, I think, this year than in years past. The receiver, Matt Miller, great player. Kirby Moore, good player. Kirby, I believe, did not play against Utah State because of an injury. I believe he was on the trip but didn't play. And then they have a little guy, Williams Rhodes, at 5'6", 157, sophomore, but he's electric in the open field, and they're going to try and throw him bubbles and get him the ball in space. And then obviously Jay Ajayi, I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize, but he is a load at 6 foot 220 as the starting tailback. So we're going to have to gang tackle. There's no doubt in my mind. So we have they have good personnel, and we have a lot of respect for them on offense. Defensively, the first thing you see when you watch tape is they play really hard. They run everybody runs to the football, multiple hats on the ball when they tackle. I think they tackle well. They're aggressive both by physical demeanor and play calling, which is impressive given the fact that they're pretty young on defense. They have some redshirt freshmen, some true freshmen in the depth. They have some sophomores starting. So they're playing pretty good defense, and especially when you take into account that they're pretty young. I think they're good up front. I think our offensive line's got their work cut out for them. Personnel-wise, DeMarcus Lawrence, number 8, is a really good player, and he is a different kind of size, speed guy, 6'3", 245, but very, very athletic, can pressure the passer. The guy that backs him up on paper, Bo Martin's got as many sacks, 6'2", 271. Weaver, 51 Weaver, redshirt freshman, linebacker, good player. And then the other guy that sticks out on film is the safety, number 10, Jeremy Ione. They've got some really good players on defense as well. On special teams, they are difference-making in the return game. As of today, they are number 1 in the country in punt returns. They average 26 yards a return. That is going to be a big deal for us in the game. In order for us to have a chance to win this game, we've got to win the coverage units. We've got to cover on punts, and we've got to cover on kickoffs. Williams Rhodes is the primary punt returner, and he's really good. And then Williams Rhodes and a kid by the name of Dallas Burrows, 81, a backup receiver, are the 2 primary kickoff returners, and they're both really good. And you look back to the Fresno game, 2 big kickoff returns back to the field, help them with field position, get them back in the game. So they've got good personnel, and there's a reason for it. They've been good for a while, and they've been able to recruit and get guys into their system, and this will be a great challenge for us, but one that we're looking forward to. And one of the things that we've been talking about this week is some teams, I think, go up there and they're defeated before they even come out of the locker room because of their record at home and the blue turf and the rowdy crowd. And I'm not going to belabor the point with the team, but the one thing I have mentioned to them is let's not be afraid of it. Let's enjoy it. It's a great college atmosphere. I'd much rather play there than I was a part of some games in the MAC. You go to the Akron Rubber Bowl in late November, play in front of 3,000 strong, in 40 degrees and raining sideways. That's no fun. Playing in front of a full house and a rowdy crowd in a great atmosphere, that's fun. That's fun. So we've talked to the team about let's just go enjoy the moment. And we got some things we got to work on. We obviously need to play better on the road, and this is a great opponent, well-coached, talented group. So it'll be we'll have our work cut out for us, and we're keeping our heads down and just working as hard as we can to get ready for the game. So that.
The bye came exactly at the midpoint of the season. What do you think you've learned at this point? What did these last couple of weeks teach you in terms of moving forward? Maybe anything that might surprise you at this point?
I think the halfway point and looking back on it are areas of concern headed into the season. We were right to be concerned about the places that we were concerned about, and we're working to get them better. We faced a lot of adversity in the first half of the season. Now, by no stretch of the imagination, I mean, we were responsible for that. We put ourselves behind the eight ball a couple of times, but I learned that our team has character, and they'll fight, and they won't give up, and they won't quit, and we saw examples of that, and we learned that executing in critical stages. I mean, you can talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, but we proved that if you don't execute at critical times in ball games, you'll make it harder on yourself. I mean, I think back to the San Diego State game. First play on offense in overtime, we get a false start, and you're behind the chains. You're 1st and 15. We need to do a better job of keeping our poise. We need to be, we talk about details, and then, it's the details that get us. So I don't think there was anything earth-shattering. I think there was a lot to teach off of, and ultimately, all the things that we've been harping on and preaching on, when we do the little things right, we're okay, and when we let them get away from us, we have issues.
In the couple of weeks that you got to recruit here, how much of a presence was Boise? Did you feel that this is who we're competing against for players? How much were they in his head? What did you say?
We compete against them, certainly on the West Coast. It's not our only competitor, but we compete against them certainly on the West Coast. And the way if a young man's going to get a Pac-12 offer, he's going to look at Oregon and USC, and that's the one he's hoping to get. If a guy knows he's a Mountain West player, let's face it. I mean, Boise's pretty high profile, and rightfully so. And so that's kind of guys get Mountain West offers. Often that's the one that they're looking for. We're not dealing in all the same kids because our academic standards are different from a lot of the rest of the conference, and that's reality. So we're not dealing with all the same kids, but we're dealing with some of them.
Going into the bye week that you guys were going to do a self-scout kind of yourself as coaches. I mean, there's probably some stuff you don't want to reveal, but I mean, did you learn a lot through that process, just having a week to kind of get your breath and look?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we have the first thing is that we don't need to do more. We need to do less, and we need to do it better. I mean, to try and change who you are halfway through the season, that's not the right thing to do, and we understand that. We looked at, all right, well, why are we only getting 3.8 a carry in the run game? And you look at it, and we know the reasons why, and we're trying to get them fixed, but some of them aren't going to be fixed, in the next couple of weeks. I mean, that's part of recruiting and shoring up some personnel issues. There's some things that we've done really well. Excuse me. I mean, I'm pleased with our progress in the passing game. I'm pleased with we're converting third downs at a 50% clip, which is pretty good, and so it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, we've identified some things that we're doing well, and we've identified some things that we need to get fixed and work on, and that's what we're in the process of doing that. So.
Boise's won, I think, 12 of the last 13. Is it a good thing that you and the both
I can't imagine that it's a bad thing. I mean, I don't feel the pressure of, boy, you haven't beaten them in, so many years. I wasn't here. And that's not, I mean, please don't misunderstand. I have a ton of respect for that program and who they are and what they are, but I don't necessarily carry that burden right now. Now, 5 years from now, if I'm sitting here and we're 0 for 5, I'll probably carry that burden. But ultimately, too, the other thing is our players can't worry about that stuff. I mean, we really got to be focused on just playing a football game. It's like people talk about the Cannon, too. I mean, the Cannon's been here 8 straight years. We don't need to think about that. I mean, there's enough pressure in just trying to win a football game. We need to focus on solely the opponent, and those records don't have anything to do with this team. A lot of those guys were not a part of those teams. Some of them were. I mean, we've got a handful of guys that were on the 2010 team that beat them, and we're going to help draw from that. I believe it was 2010. I'm right. We're going to draw from that experience, but ultimately, every year is its own separate entity. This is a separate team, and we can't be concerned with carrying that burden. We've got to just solely be concerned about playing the game. Just like we can't be concerned about a blue field. Who cares? It's still 100 yards. I mean, it's a blue field. So what? We got to worry about winning the football game, trying to win the football game, not worried about things that frankly are not that important, or in terms of the past records, we can't do anything about it anyway. So let's just focus on the here and now and stay in the moment.
Boise's doing some pistol stuff, as you mentioned. What's different about what they're doing and what is done here? And do you expect them maybe to back off of it because you guys know it so well?
I would not expect them to back off of it because they've run it. I mean, they've been productive on offense, so why would you back away from it? I mean, again, just be who you are. And right now they're pretty productive, and one of their best players on their whole football team is a great tailback, and you'd want to keep feeding them, I would imagine. I don't expect that they're going to completely go away from what they've done. Conceptually, how similar is it to ours? Honestly, it's pretty similar. There are some wrinkles, just like there's going to be everywhere, but that's, I mean, good for them. I mean, they found another piece of offense that they're getting good at and works for them, and they're using it. And I mean, certainly there's no trademark on it, So could it be a slight advantage for us on defense that we're used to it? Could be. It's not an advantage unless you make it one. I mean, we still got to get off blocks and tackle. So,
Southwick, kind of struggled, I think, last year and maybe even early this year. Where have you seen his improvement, do you think?
I think teams have said, okay, we're going to do everything we can to stop the run, and you got to beat us. And I think he's proving that he's capable of doing that. I don't want to misspeak, but I believe he came off his most productive game of his career last week at Utah State. Or at least in the last couple of weeks, he's had his most productive games. So, experience, there's no better teacher than experience, and he's played a lot here in the last 2 years, and, after having backed up Kellen Moore, and he's continually improved, which is a credit to he and their coaching staff, that as the guy has played more and more football, he's gotten better.
And I'm also doing a few things for the Boise paper up there. What are the key areas where this team needs to improve?
Our team?
Yeah.
Certainly we need to be more efficient in the run game. I believe that. We've got to protect the ball. Defensively, we got to tackle better, and we got to avoid breakdowns that lead to big plays. And really, that's trying to get stay focused on the little details, making sure we fit the run exactly the way we're supposed to fit it, and get everybody on the same page has been that's been the focus here the last couple of weeks.
And a couple more for them. Was it important for you to keep the offense when you arrived?
Yeah, it just made sense to keep the offense. I mean, continuity is a good thing. the offense have been very productive. We were personneled for it. Players believed in it, so I was not going to change simply for the sake of change. And while we have, added some wrinkles to it and certainly expanded the passing game a little bit, I do believe the core beliefs of the offense are intact and a lot of the core looks. And, obviously we want to run the ball better, and we're working hard to do that.
And then finally, what needs to happen for your defensive production to catch up to your offensive production?
We need people to simply do their jobs. We need people to stop getting outside of the framework of their defense in an attempt to make a play. Whereas if we could get all 11 guys doing their job to the best of their ability, the system will work and we'll be just fine. I think some of our issues have been guys are trying too hard to make a play, and they get outside of the framework of the defense, not because they're saying, hey, I don't believe in what you're doing, and enough with you guys, I'm going to do my own thing. It's been guys who are trying to make plays, and sometimes they get outside of the framework of the defense to try and do it, and we get exposed.
Coach, you notice added excitement on the team this week because of the energy and practice and everything like that?
Well, we only had a brief workout yesterday. We'll tell today, but Kevin Sumlin taught me a great lesson last year before we played Alabama. He said, he told me, if you tell the guys this is a big game one time, I'm going to kick you right in the tail. I mean, players know. I don't need to tell them that, playing at Boise on a Saturday night is a great opportunity, that it's a big game. They know it's a big game. I don't need to say it. And if I need to give a rah-rah speech to get them up to play for this game, then we're not wired the right way. And I have no doubt that we won't have to give that speech, that they'll be excited to play. I mean, it's a great stage and a great opponent, and this is why you play college football, is to play games like this.
You noted earlier playing on the road and the difficulty there. I mean, you played at Florida State and at UCLA. It's kind of hard to judge. But what have you thought of your team as it goes onto the road? I mean, have you been happy with how they've dealt with that?
I don't know. That's a hard one to answer because the UCLA and Florida State games, you come out of both first halves and say, boy, we're representing ourselves really well. We're competing. We didn't let the hostile environments bother us, but then we come out in second halves and don't represent ourselves well in the second halves. The first half, at the end of the first half of San Diego State, as a football team in all four phases, offense, defense, special teams, and coaching, we lose our poise in the last minute and a half, and and it kind of seeps over into the beginning of the second half. But we kept our cool, and a game that could have gotten away from us on the road, we fought our tails off and sent it into overtime. We just didn't finish. It's something that I think about, but it's not something that keeps me up at night. Boy, are we not a good road team, because, like you said, the UCLA and the Florida State, I don't know if those are fair to use as measuring sticks. And obviously, we didn't do everything well at San Diego State, but we did show the conviction and the ability to gather ourselves, recapture our poise and execute and come from 21 down in the fourth quarter. So I don't know if I can reach a conclusion there. To be honest with you, the thing I'm more concerned about, not so much home and road, but playing sharper coming out of the break. We're being outscored in the third quarter significantly. I'm trying to figure out what it is that we need to do to come out of the half and be sharper. And that's something that we've talked about as a staff, and we've messed with a couple of things, and we'll keep tinkering with it until we can get it right, because we've got to do a better job and be sharper coming out of the break. There's no denying that, home or away. What did the depth chart say? We're in a production-based business. Personal feelings have nothing to do with it. It's based on production and effort. And at this point, Ian Seau deserves to start. But That's not to say that Lenny's not buried in the doghouse. But you simply, like I said, we tell the players all the time, you put your resume on tape. What happened before, accolades, people's perceptions, that doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't matter. All we can go off of is what's on the tape. Now, when it's all said and done, they'll probably both play the same amount of plays. Neither guy's ready to play 80 plays in a game. That's hard to do, especially when you're rushing the passer. And the way that we substitute on defense, specifically in the front four, those guys end up playing just about the same amount of plays every game anyway. So I wouldn't read that much into it.
I'm concerned that about the run defense. In your mind, fixable, or do you have to change the
I'm concerned about every phase of the game, but I'm concerned about it. But I'm not going to. We're 6 games into a new system and a new staff. I'm not going to all of a sudden change who we are. That's just not right. We're going to do what we do. We just need to do it better. If we get to the end of the year and we'll sit down and take a long, hard look about how many of our breakdowns were scheme related, how many of them were personnel related. It's all of it. We got to coach better. We got to play better. But the one thing we're not going to do is panic and completely change who we are. Because let's face it, too. This bears mentioning. Have we put in a new system? Yes, we have. But the old system, what they were playing before, we still struggled on defense. Is that a fair statement? So, it's not just system. It's players, it's coaching, it's technique. Really, does it matter what you play if you're getting off blocks and tackling? I think defense, sometimes it can be that simple. Are your eyes where they're supposed to be? And we have a lot of examples of really good plays, and then one play, our eyes aren't where they're supposed to be, so we failed as coaches to articulate the message and how important it is. And, players got to play better. It's everything. But the one thing we're not going to do is give up the ship and say, boy, we need to change what we do 180 degrees, because that's not right. I'll be very frank with you. I have not given 1 second of thought to the conference championship game. One of the things that we try really hard to do here is keep everybody focused on 1 week at a time. Try to stay in the moment and compartmentalize as best we can, and not look at the standings in the league and just solely focus on being 1-0 at the end of the week. And that's all we've been talking about. And I know that's boring for you guys because I repeat the same thing, but the message is the message. It is 12 one-game seasons, and we are trying to be 1-0, and we're going to try our hardest to be 1-0.
Boise's defense conceptually is not like your defense, but when you look at Boise State's defense and the way they play and all that, is that what you want your guys to look like?
I think that's a fair statement. I think it's a fair statement. The physicality, the aggressiveness, the way they run to the ball collectively. Look, they make mistakes too. Everybody makes mistakes. It's college football. But, when I look at them, that's. But look, when you look at Boise in every facet of their program, they're the torchbearer for what was the WAC and now it's the Mountain West. Their facilities, the fanaticism of the fan base. The way they recruit, the way they play. They established something there a long time ago, and they have kept it going, and it's been really good. And I have no problem pointing at them and saying, that's what we want to build this thing towards. And I don't think that's disrespectful to anybody here, and I don't think it's undue praise to them. They've been really good. We're going to go try and beat them. That's our job. We're going to try to beat them. But I have no problem saying that they've built a really, really good program, and that's something that we'd like people to say about us 10 years from now. So, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
lot. What stands out about Boise State when you take them on?
They don't hurt themselves most of the time. You know, they play real good fundamental football, and you say that a lot about a lot of teams, but they tackle well, they block well, they play hard. They're just a good football team, and when you get to go out there and you get to play your best game to, you know, beat them. So it's always a challenge. It's always a good time, though. You know, you're always ready for Boise State.
In your personal battle this week, do you think you're going to face Lawrence more or Jong-Un-Jo?
Jong-Un-Jo is usually an inside guy for them, so probably not him as much. But Lawrence plays to the field, so it just depends where the ball is. If we're on the right hash, I guess I'll play against him a lot. We'll see how it goes. He switches sides, so me and Kyle will get the brunt of that.
Have you noticed an added excitement on the team because of this Boise State game? One of those games that it's not hard to get up for?
I think it's not hard to get up for, but I think we have a pretty good excitement every game. And, you know, coming after the bye week, there's a little bit of excitement. You're a little fresher. You're a little more ready to go anyway. So I think just playing at Boise in general, you know, we're excited for anybody we play, but it should be a good time.
Do you think this rivalry maybe even has surpassed UNLV a little bit over the last 10 years? Because Boise's been the team you're trying to knock off. It's always been a conference game.
I think both are big-time games. I think both are probably our biggest rivalries. I think UNLV's in-state, and there's a trophy for that. But when you're playing Boise, it's usually about who's going to try and win the conference. So it's a big-time game, too. They got our number most of the time, so it's hard to call it a rivalry when you lose a lot. But we'll give it our best shot.
What do you tell the young guys about playing in Boise and against Boise?
It's a great atmosphere. I told them it's fun to play there. It's probably louder, one of the loudest stadiums I've played at, even compared to the ones we go to. It's a little smaller, but their fans are there, and the way it's built, it's pretty loud. You know, the blue turf, it looks cool for the first 5 minutes. You walk on the field, and then you're just playing football. So I just tell them it's a great atmosphere and enjoy the moment, you know, capture it, and let's play some football.
As a player, how tough is it just to see these guys, you know, wearing blue onto the field? Is it tough?
I think it looks worse on TV than it actually is, but it's decently tough. I think day games are harder than night games. So my 2 times I've been up there. So we got a night game this year, and so hopefully it won't be too bad.
How badly do you guys need to establish the run this week?
It's our goal every week, and it's number 1 on our goal. But especially against Boise, we got to bring it out. We got to bring the run game going. You know, we're Connor's back in the rotation now, and him and Fred, I think, are going to rotate a little bit like they've been doing the last week against San Diego State, and I think they're competing well against each other. And I think Cody's back to 100%, so I think our offense is going to open up a little bit. I think it's going to be a big factor in the game, how we run the ball.
And I've got a couple of questions for you here for the Boise paper. What's the biggest difference in the program under Polian compared to Alt?
Both great coaches. Both coach a little bit differently. Coach Polian kind of lets the coordinators coordinate. He's more of like a general manager type guy, where Coach Alt was more hands-on with the offense. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference, is he lets his coaches do a little bit more coaching, where Coach Alt was hands-on and wanted to make sure that we understood what was going on.
Was the transition a challenge at all?
Not really. Not for me, at least. I think Coach Polian did a great job of transitioning. He always had our input, you know, always asked for our input, always asked for what we wanted, you know, what we thought about things, and he has great mentors. You know, he was at great institutions, and for him to come here, I think it worked out great. I think it's been a smooth transition.
And I think the last 2 games you played every play on offense, 209 snaps, 206.
Yeah.
Did that take anything out of you?
I was happy we had a bye week last week. I was pretty tired after the San Diego State game. I was feeling pretty beat up, but I'm feeling fresh now, and I'm ready to finish out the season.
Did you lose some weight in those 2 weeks?
Yeah, but I ate a lot this bye week, so I'm doing good.
How much would it mean to you just to go out with your senior year beating Boise State?
Oh, it'd be unbelievable. I mean, we beat them in 2010. I wasn't a starter on that team, but I played on special teams and stuff like that. And when that field goal went in to beat them, it was the most unbelievable feeling in the world. And just to be able to go up there and beat them in Boise, I think it would make me a lot happier right now. Thank you.
John, what stood out on tape as far as Boise State's offense is concerned?
Boise State offense is faster. It's not a lot of shifts and motions. No huddle, high tempo, stuff like that.
And Southwick, struggled a bit last year and maybe even a little bit earlier this year. Have you seen something in him that maybe he's stepped it up a notch?
He's very good at reading the field. He's very good at getting the ball to receivers and keeping his eyes downfield on the scramble. So, we just got to stay in our coverage lanes.
And how much does your knowledge and your defensive knowledge of the pistol, how much is that going to help you this week?
It's going to help us a lot. We see the pistol every day. We practice against it, and we have been for the last 3 years and even longer than that.
Do you expect to see them running the pistol a lot?
Yeah, I expect to see them running the pistol. They're going to run similar plays as our offense. They're going to do similar pass protections and those similar routes as our offense, too.
And the run defense here is, obviously struggled here in the first half of the season. Do you think it's gotten better maybe in these last couple of weeks? How much better does it need to get?
Well, it needs to get a whole lot better. We have been doing a whole lot more on this bye week, teaching what we preach and, just lineman and assignment, fitting the gaps and doing everything right. What I heard, I kind of experienced it sophomore year. It's pretty loud. The blue turf it looks pretty good, and just after that, it's just all football.
You're playing some outside backers, some middle. Is there one position you prefer over the others?
Well, it's not really. I like playing them all. The more I can do, the more I can help this team. So it's pretty fun to me.
Cody, I'm doing a couple things here for the Boise State paper. What's been the biggest difference in the transition from Alt to Polian?
Honestly, I don't think as far as the transition, we haven't skipped a beat. Obviously, we offensively we still run the pistol. The thing is, Coach Polian lets Coach Rolovich coach pistol, and Coach Hazelton coaches defense. And Coach Alt was really there for the offense, and he called the plays, and everyone knew that pistol was his baby. But Coach Polian's more just the guy who sees all and just kind of helps out when he can, and that's probably the biggest transition.
Was it a challenge at all to have to go through that transition?
Not at all, honestly, because we kept Coach Rolovich on the staff, and so that was easy for me, a guy I'm comfortable with, and I built a really good relationship with, and just hearing it from him, he learned from Coach Alt, and I've learned from Coach Alt, so we kind of just fed off each other, and we made it work on offense. The bye week was great. I feel 100%. Obviously going to still be in that knee brace, but I feel like myself again and get back to the read game stuff and, just get back to the real pistol offense.
Cody, among the players, is this rivalry almost to the UNLV point of not making past it because you haven't been able to knock them off the lot? It's always been a confidence game.
You know, it's basically whoever wins this game has put themselves in a good spot to win the Mountain West or be in the Mountain West Championship game. So for us, obviously, we need to knock off Boise with the loss to San Diego State 2 weeks ago. So in order for us to have a chance to be in that Mountain West game, we know we got to knock off Boise, and it's going to be a rivalry game. I feel like every conference game is a rivalry game just because how much is on the line. If you lose one conference game, 2, you're probably done. So every game from here on out in the conference is going to be a rivalry game for me, and I know for the team. For me, a little bit, just because I haven't played on the blue turf. Redshirt freshman year, obviously, I didn't play. So, I'm really excited to go up there. I know they got great fan support, and they're obviously going to have a packed house. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and just playing on the blue turf is going to be a great experience for me, and I'm excited. But we can't let the atmosphere take over. It's still another football team, and we just got to go out and get after them. Just the QB run stuff, we kind of just went into more of a power offense because I couldn't run as much. But now that I'm back to 100%, hopefully we can mix it up a little bit more with the read game stuff, passing, and the more of the power stuff. So it'll help us out offensively, and it'll help our offensive line out tremendously. So, I'm really excited about that, and I know the coaches are too. Yeah, I'm probably going to – the only time I'll probably take it off is maybe the bowl week, just because we'll have about – if we end up making a bowl, we'll have a couple weeks off, and so that's probably the only time I'll shed it. But honestly, it doesn't hinder my performance. It doesn't mess with my running at all. I feel like myself, and I feel like I'm running pretty quick out there.
How important is it for you guys to establish the run game this week?
We have to. That's the pistol game. We can't have them dropping 8 guys every time because that makes it incredibly hard to pass against. So, when the run game's doing well, and then it opens up things for the pass game. And so when the pass game's doing well, our run game should be doing all right. So hopefully passing the ball the way we did the past 2 games that we've played will open up the run game more, and we can, obviously run the ball better.
You've thrown it more than 50 times the last 2 games. Is it a good thing if you throw it maybe more around 30, 35 times?
Whatever it takes to win, honestly. If it takes 50 throws to win a game, I'll do that. If it takes 5 throws to win the game, I'll do that. Obviously whatever it takes to win is what I want to do. But hopefully with the run game, and we don't have to playing from 21 points down. Obviously when you're playing from 21 points down, you're going to throw the ball almost every down. So hopefully the game's obviously a little bit closer in the first couple quarters, and we can establish our run game and then make it easier to pass.
And what on the Boise State defense, or maybe who on the Boise State defense, do your eyes kind of go to right away?
They got a great defensive line. I think his name is DeMarcus Lawrence, number 8. He's a big kid, good kid. Plays really fast, really strong. But obviously, if he lines up against Joel Bitonio, I know Joel's got my back every snap. So I'll be comfortable and confident no matter what. I just know that they got a good D line, and it's going to be a good test for offensive line. But as long as we can establish the run, like I said, and we can throw the ball as we need, we'll be okay. It'd be awesome. Any road game win is a big win for a team. Obviously, everything's stacked against you when you play on the road. So, for us to go out to Boise and win this game, it'll be tremendous for us, tremendous for our season. Just giving us a lot of momentum going into a big homecoming week against UNLV, and then a ranked Fresno State opponent. Not too much, no. I just know it is really hard to watch film when they have those blue jerseys on. You'll be watching film, and then all of a sudden some guy will pop out of nowhere, and you're like, where did he come from? So to me, the hardest thing is watching film right now when they wear those all-blue jerseys. But they wore the all-blue against Utah State last week, so I don't know if they want to go 2 weeks in a row with all-blue, so we'll see what they come out in. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we played them here last year, and anytime we play Boise, it's going to be a big game. But for me, I'm excited, like I said, to play on the blue turf all my life. You've been watching games on the blue turf, and you're like, oh, that'd be cool to play on it. And now, here's my opportunity to play on it. And so hopefully we can just, come together as a team, and obviously don't let the atmosphere weigh in too much, because when you got some young guys who are like, oh, wide-eyed, then they kind of play scared. And so that's the last thing we want to do. We just want to come out as a team and play, confidently.
I think almost all of the last 6 games you guys have played against these guys, all but one, I think, they've raced out to a big start, and then you guys kind of reel them in and make it a game, in the fourth quarter. How important is it to, get off to a better start and not let them run away from you like that?
I think that's our goal every time. We've struggled. I know from in the past of opening drive and going down and scoring. We haven't done it too many times that I can remember. So if we can go out opening drive and score some points early, that'll be tremendous for us and our defense to give us confidence. So, obviously you want to jump out to an early lead, as any team wants to do that. And so if we can do that, that'd be pretty awesome.
Question for Richy.
Richy, how does this game stack up with these players? I mean, this is obviously one of the bigger games year in, year out, but do you think it's almost on par with the UNLV game?
No, I don't even think it's on par as the UNLV game. UNLV game is a big game between the two big teams in Nevada. I think Boise is a great team, but I don't think that they're unbeatable. I think we're going to go into this game and do what we have to do, and I don't think it's going to be a problem.
I know you guys formed a part of a lot of the teams that have lost to Boise, but Boise kind of owned Nevada over the last decade or so. I mean, how much does that weigh into you guys want to get out there for the program to get a win?
For the program, of course we want to win this game, just based on the history behind it and everything that's happened. I think it's just going to be great to go out there and play on the big blue field. And, their history is great, and they're a great team, but obviously this year I don't think that they're unbeatable.
Would you grade your play through 6 games?
I would give myself a solid 8 or 9. I don't think I've played, to a great potential. I can obviously do better and get better every single week, and that's what I will do.
Having Florida State and UCLA road games under your belt, just how much confidence does that give you just to go into a hostile environment?
Yeah, a lot of confidence. I think it was great to go into those places and have, the stadium packed and all the fans going crazy, especially for going in Boise Stadium, because from what I hear, their fans are the same way. I think the whole team has a lot of confidence just playing 6 games and playing those road games. And I don't think it's really going to faze anyone this week.
How important is it for you guys to, put some points on the board this week? Do you see this being, possibly a high-scoring game?
Definitely. I think they're a great team, and they're going to put some points on the board. But I also think that our defense is really going to cover this week. But, of course, it's important for us to go out there and score early, let our defense have a sigh of relief, and also let our offense just get going right away.
And you guys have, obviously put up some big numbers in the passing game. How important is it for this offense to, kind of find that balance again?
I think it's great. The fact that we've been passing more has been opening up the run game, and the fact that the run game is efficient has really been opening up the passing game. And as long as we can keep the balance, we can do some great things in this conference.